Hi, Kari. Welcome to New York, and thank you for sitting with us for sure. I want to get into your biography a little bit. You are famously from Little Rock, and you attended Little Rock Central High School, which is a legendary school. Can you, I'm going to just, for people listening along, it's famous for forced desegregation in 1957. Does that past, how was that brought forward into your experience at that school? Do you feel that history at the school?
Yeah, I mean, like, for us, if you go to Little Rock Central High School, you have to know, because it's like they teach, like, we learned Arkansas history aside from like U.S. history as well. So like, there's just so much that we had. It was a part of the curriculum, like the history of the school was. And then they had like ceremonies where they would bring the Little Rock Nine in, and then like they had like little monuments for each one. So it's like it's a national park as well. So yeah.
And the monuments are in the
a
school?
National Historic Site, yeah. So they can't even like work on the school in any type of way because it's a national like landmark.
It's ranked among the top 275 schools in the country. So academically, it's a high achiever. And do you feel like it achieved its goals in terms of, is it a model for that, what it wanted to be? Or is there still segregation in Little Rock?
I mean, it's the South, so I feel like that history is just so deep that it still exists, but I mean, it's not as crazy as like a lot, because like a lot of people, they're like, oh, you're from Arkansas, oh, it must be like super racist, and I'm like, it's not blatant in a way, but you could definitely like feel it at times, and like you can recognize it. So
it's interesting because the photographs of that moment are like, those people are still probably around. Is there any sort of like do people try and distance themselves from that moment, or like, are people who were in that photo known within the community, or that they've sort of disappeared?
Yeah, I don't really know any of the people that were like harassing them in the photograph, but
terrorizing.
Yeah, like I don't really know them so much as I know about like the Little Rock Nine, like Elizabeth Eckford, the girl that was in the photograph. Right. She's come and like spoke at our school a few times, and if I'm not mistaken, I read something recently where it was saying that she is still traumatized by that, like to this day, because I don't think that, like, for me, being in that school and learning that history, I don't think I really understood that, like, she was like 14. Like, that's really crazy to think that there were like grown adults harassing a 14-year-old that just wanted to get her education.
Yeah. So and she had to walk through that by herself, right? Pretty much. No, that's an age where you're going to be traumatized by that kind of experience, for sure. The other thing I wanted to get into your biography is adoption is part of your biography too. How have you sort of processed that over the years? Because I don't think it's something where it's one and done, right?
No, definitely not. I'm still processing it. But I know at first I was like very confused, just like super confused, and then also like angry.
What age did you feel confused, would you say?
Well, I learned that I was adopted. My mom told me I was adopted pretty early, when I was like maybe like 9 or 10 years old. And I don't know if there's like a right age, you know what I mean, that you tell somebody that they're adopted. So it's kind of like, do you tell them when they're younger so they like know, or do you tell them when they're older and then they feel like their whole life is a lie? It's like, you know, it's just you don't really know which way to like approach that. And so for me, learning that so young, I think that I just kind of like fantasized, and like I was like, oh, I don't belong here. So if I feel like I don't fit in here, it's because this is not my family, or like this isn't. So I feel like I just got really rebellious and like kind of angry. But then as I got older, I realized that like I had a decent life, you know, like I had a good life. I wasn't discouraged to do things like as far as like doing music and doing art and stuff like that. I wasn't necessarily discouraged, but I also wasn't like really pushed in any direction. It was just kind of like whatever you want to do.
Do what you feel you'd like to do. I saw that your parents were at the Detroit.
The Dallas show.
Oh, it was in Dallas?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that their first time attending a show?
So it wasn't my dad's first time. My dad actually went with me to Afro Punk in Atlanta.
Oh, nice.
And because he's a trooper. I love my dad. He's so tight. But like my mom, she hasn't always been supportive because she didn't necessarily understand what I was doing. And she's like religious. Like I grew up in a very religious, very religious family. And so
church every Sunday?
Yeah, and Wednesday.
Yeah, that's very.
Yeah, very. And she just didn't understand it, and I think that like for a long time we just always butted heads because our views were just so different. And she came to that show. That was her. I feel like that was like her first real time seeing me outside of Little Rock. I think she came to a show in Little Rock, and it was a small show. So, but she saw it and she like apologized to me, which is a really big deal for me. She was like, I'm sorry for not supporting you and like understanding what your dream is, and like me seeing all those people like have so much admiration for you really opens my eyes a lot, and like I'm sorry. And like my mom, she doesn't apologize.
Okay.
So
that was a big moment.
It was a really big moment. And yeah, now I'm like, oh, now I have support from the one person that I've been wanting to support me forever. So it's like, really, there's not shit you can tell me. Like my mom loves me. Like my mom loves me. I don't care what you think about me.
All right. So now I want to get into, from a music perspective. Well, let me cover the Chickfila thing first.
Okay.
How long did you work there?
Couldn't even, maybe like a month.
Oh, you didn't last.
Oh no, I never kept. I had like 7 jobs before I was like 18.
All right, yeah. So, but people love that place. Is it overrated in your opinion?
I don't think it's overrated or underrated. I think it is like, you know,
it's appropriately praised.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Chick-fil-A. You know, like you're gonna go to Chick-fil-A and it's gonna be
some decent meal.
Yeah.
All right. I kind of feel it's a little overrated.
You think so?
A little bit. I mean, it's a chicken sandwich.
I mean, them nuggets though. Them nuggets, they go off.
Okay, it might be a nugget thing. That could be it. Okay, so now musically, you have mentioned being a big fan of Britney Spears. When was the Britney Spears era for you?
I had to have been elementary.
Okay, so you were super young at that time.
Yeah, I had to have been elementary.
Like 5, 6, 7? 8, 9, 10?
Yeah, probably like 9.
Like a tween?
Yeah, like 8, 9.
Was there a particular song or album that you had on repeat? Did you listen to CDs? How did you?
Yeah, I had her on CD, and I think it was her second album, and she had this one song, "Lucky." That she's so lucky, she's a star. Yeah, I used to listen to that on repeat like every day.
Isn't that the video where she's walking out and there's like paparazzi?
Yeah. And it's about her just like, you know, having this famous life, but nobody cares.
Okay.
It's great.
But then, like, you moved on from Britney. And I know that when you were 16, you did a freestyle over Jay-Z's Song Cry. What was the sort of transition between Britney, Lucky, and Jay-Z Song Cry?
I mean, well, during Britney, I was listening to, like, before Britney, I was listening to, like, Snoop Dogg and The Chronic and Ice Cube and Devin the Dude, A-Ball MJG, UGK. Like, I was listening to a lot of like rap music because I have an older brother that's like 10 years older than me. So I used to like go through his CDs when he was at home.
Okay.
And just like look at all the album art and just listen to music and stuff. And then when I started getting my own CDs, my mom was like, well, what do you want? And I was like, well, I guess I have to keep it, you know, G-rated. Let's just get Britney Spears. But I like
because she would not probably.
Yeah, she wouldn't let me get like rap.
I see.
CDs.
Yeah, that older sibling is always instrumental a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times in shaping the taste.
I think my mom let me get Kanye West's College Dropout because of Jesus Walks.
All right.
Like that's the only. She was like, oh, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? She's just like Jesus. Yeah, I like him. You can get that CD.
Okay. Little did she know. Okay, so, but why Song Cry? I love that song. That was probably, that's on the Blueprint. That's like
I just love that song.
Mm-hmm.
I love that song.
I felt it was the first song where Jay-Z was admitting to having emotions.
And I thought that's why it was really cool.
It was significant. And then it was a long, like you had like I think a 4-year break between, in 2011 you put out 40 miles per
40
hour.
miles per hour, yeah.
Okay, I'm pronouncing it in a very corny way. But what was the sort of break between the?
Well, I was like, I like made like a lot of music when I was in high school because it was just like a hobby of mine. And then when I graduated, I was like, why am I rapping? Like nobody cares about me. I'm from Arkansas. I'll never make it. Great attitude to have, right? So then I went to school in Atlanta. I went to Art Institute for a little while. And
well, you've mentioned that as not a positive experience. Did you go there to become a producer or an engineer? Like, what was the purpose?
Yeah, I wanted to produce and engineer.
All right.
So I stopped making music and I tried to like focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like dropped out, moved back home. And when I moved back home, all my friends were like rapping and like making beats. And I was like, and at first when I got back, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna rap. Like, I'm just gonna be a DJ for like my friend's like rap group at the time. And then I remember one day we were all hanging out at his house, and my friend Fresco at the time, he like played this beat, which was 40 miles per hour, and I was like, yo, this beat is crazy. I gotta rap on it. And then I rapped on it and I just never stopped after that.
What's your process for writing? How do you go about doing it?
It's changed over the years. I used to just like get beats and then just write 2 beats.
Mm-hmm.
But now I just like write. I'll just write random shit down throughout the day.
Do you use your phone? Do you use
both? I write like physically and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you save all your notebooks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I have a lot of them.
You have had 4 songs in Insecure. Supplier, Lie to My Face, Small Talk, and Top Down.
Oh, Low Key and Give Me a Ride. So that's 6.
Whoa, 6 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a lot. Issa Rae she loves you.
I love her.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite character in the show? Besides Issa?
I like Amanda Seales' character. She's funny.
She's hilarious.
She's funny.
Yep, she really is. They're all funny though, I have to say. What was the name of the guy that she was dating, Issa Rae, that turned out to be, what was his name? Now I'm wondering. Does anybody remember?
Which one?
Lawrence?
Was it it was the second guy who disappeared and went back to Dallas.
Oh, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Nathan.
Nathan, thank you.
Nathan.
That was an interesting storyline with Nathan. So, that company is owned and run by a woman, Issa Rae. Do you get a different vibe dealing with that situation? Does it matter, do you feel like?
What do you mean?
Just in terms of the business exchanges and just dealing with them from like a business perspective. Do you feel like you get a sense that it's a little bit different because the company is run by a woman?
I mean, I did, like, when I was dealing with the business side, it was HBO. So it was like, I wasn't necessarily in like talks with
her team.
It was more so like the music director at HBO.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And ultimately HBO, it's a good point. It's a company.
Yeah, and I mean, and they were easy to work with.